bevo.com.
Simon, at the Internet World Conference, you were talking about cannibalization. With the amount of disruptive innovators out there in the marketplace, and with India and China obviously now innovating and creating competing products in a global marketplace, how should companies now view cannibalization?
Yeah, I think cannibalization is an incredibly negative word that people think about. To me, if you're going to do something that is going to prepare you for the future and change your business model, that's not cannibalization. That's about being smart, right? And really driving the business forward. So it's a mindset. Cannibalization inevitably means there are winners and losers internally, right? And if you're trying to drive innovation in a business, the last thing you want to do is have winners and losers. So for me, it's about creating these people do X and these people do Y, and together, this is a company and service that we're providing to the customer, right? And the customer ultimately decides. So, get rid of the word cannibalization, don't create winners and losers, and just make sure that you're focused on what is the customer proposition and then how is that changing. And a real good example for LOVEFiLM is, we're heavily into physical DVD, we rent that all the time, yet I know in 10, 15 years time plus that most people are going to be watching films in a different way and it's going to be downloaded or streamed, right? So I have to say it's not about how do I cannibalize my existing DVD, it's how do I make the most of that transition period and what I would call that mixed economy of physical and digital, and who plays what role in the organization, what skills do I need to make that work. And if I can get that blend right, then I know we're going to be winners not only in the physical world, but in the digital world as well. And it's that mentality and mindset that's really important in business.
Simon, you're clearly number one in the marketplace with LOVEFiLM, but you still have the challenger mentality. In other words, you're continuing to try and do and incorporate new things into the marketplace, like your recent advertising-funded model. So can you tell us about innovation when you're number one and making sure that you're constantly trying new things?
Yeah, I think as you grow as a business, right, you need to set yourselves common enemies, right? Things you're gonna compete against and challenge, right? To your point about being a challenger. And what happens is as you may begin to become stronger in one particular smaller segment of a market, like maybe DVD rental, then you begin to say to yourself, okay, what next? And then you say to yourself, well, it's not about DVD rental, it's about film watching. And who else is offering film watching, and how do we expand the customer set, and who are our next challengers? When we first started off, people laughed at us and they thought that we would become, bigger than high street rental chains or bigger than other people who were in the marketplace. The reality is we have, and now we've got to target the next group, which is the cable and satellite operators, which is TV operators, which is people who are providing film, but not in the sense of competing with them, but in the sense of saying, how can we get people to watch what we have, right, so that we can grow the total pie? Because we are a firm believer that if you're challenging and offering choice, you will grow the pie, and if you grow the pie, there are going to be winners. Everybody's going to win, including the consumer. So, constantly fighting against, what's the best way to watch films? What's the best value you can provide? What's the best way you can get it to a consumer when they want to watch it, how they want to watch it? And, challenging yourself more than anything else. So the reason that I like to build this, if you like, challenger mentality is so that internally you don't become complacent. And you are looking at yourself and you're saying, what can we do next? How do we do that? Because, I've been in lots of situations in business where you achieve the goal that you've set out. It could be leadership in online DVD, sort of rental subsector, for example. And then you go, okay, what next? And the whole organization goes, now it's important to celebrate success, but what's really important as well is to set the next hurdle for the business, because they need a goal and a challenge to go for. And for us, for example, it's going to be about our share of film watching, how we can make that transition from physical to digital and lead the way in digital, how we can get more people to our site to find out about film information. And all of those are challenges in their own right that we need to give people responsibility and accountability for, to begin to drive and make happen, so that we never become complacent. We never sit back and rest on our laurels before, we've won. And to be honest, we're going to be about £100 million revenue this year. I want to try and get to 200 million pounds, and then I want to get to £500 million, and then I want to get to £1 billion, and it's how big can we make it? And the answer is as big as we want to.
I watched you speaking at the British Library as well, talking about there's a chance it might be at 99 million this year. That's
right. 99.1 I think is the latest forecast, which is like, come on guys, let's what can we do? How can we drive this forward? But that's another great example of saying, okay, we're not going to be satisfied with our 40+% growth that we have year on year. How can we just get that next milestone? What can we do? And interestingly, when we hit that £100 million run rate, right, which is 8.33 whatever on a monthly basis, we will pay out a big award for people in the organisation, because that was our next goal, was to try and hit that 100 million run rate. And then we set ourselves a next goal, which could be around growth, it could be around traffic, it could be around profitability. And then when we hit that goal, we'll have a big payout. So linking corporate goals to reward and recognition to how your staff feel about the business is incredibly important. And as a chief executive, it's one of the most important things you can do, which is energize a business, give it vision, and give people reward and recognition when you get there.
Bevo.com